Today, over 1 billion children in the world live in poverty. At Help Heal Humanity, our goal is to connect children in need with people like you who want to make a difference. Our student sponsorship program helps provide children with the necessities for a healthy and successful start to life. When you sponsor a student, you're not only giving them the gift of education, you're giving them the best chance for a brighter future. 100% of your donation supports the tuition fees, uniforms, textbook, and school supplies needed to thrive in a safe and healthy learning environment. Sponsor a student now and be the catalyst for their brighter future.
Good morning, Miss Barbara. How are you doing?
Good morning, lady. How you doing too?
I'm doing really well. Yeah. All sorts of fun things are happening.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Well, before we even start, I want to welcome everybody to the Time to Shine Happiness Show with the BBs. You know what? I might have to get somebody to make a song for us. That would be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
See, ask the audience. Anybody, a songwriter out there needs a little, wants to make us like a little one of those little jingles, that about the babies. That would be awesome.
I just thought about that. I said, "Oh, that'd be cool." We have our own little song.
My husband would do that. He would make up these little ditties. And like one time he made one up about when our grandson John was born. He was 2'3" and wearing a diaper and stuff. But never saved it. And now, of course, I don't remember it. But it was to the tune of what, like Big John, because his name was John. So, the Johnny Cash song.
Yeah.
Big Bad. And so it was just the funniest thing. John would laugh, and he just thought that was great that he had a song about it.
Oh, I know that was special to him. It is somebody.
Yeah, and I feel, but how we regret things. I feel bad that I never wrote it down or had David or tape it. But back then you didn't. Let's talk. Back then we didn't have those. Oh, now it would have been a TikTok.
You could have been like, here you go.
yeah, it would have been a TikTok. So
See, thank you for letting people know, Barbara, that it wasn't always like this. We back in the day didn't have what
we
they
did
have.
not have it. Exactly.
No.
I mean, to haul out a big, 35 millimeter camera, yeah. Didn't have the recording, the instant recording things of at the time.
Yeah.
Let's age. I mean, I'm going to really age myself because I'm older than you are.
Well, I'm in the same boat. People ask me, they said, Barbara, because now they call me at my job, they call me elder.
Oh,
they call me elder Mrs. Beckley. So they ask me questions and they get so like, what? I always see their face be like, you didn't have that? You didn't have a cell phone? I was like,
no.
No.
I mean, I'm going to really age myself. I started out with, when we moved out to where I grew up, I mean, we had a party line.
Yeah, we did too. I mean, that's I remember that too.
And it was such a big thing when we got our own phone. But then we had one phone in the house at the bottom of the stairs and a long cord. And I mean, you had to always let the phone ring at least 14 times to be polite, because you had to allow people time to get to the phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we counted the rings. Oh, I'm only at 10. It's too early. I can't hang up yet.
It's funny what I hear, like you're talking about it. And I tell people, see, you're not that far off from a person that's around you, because we share the same history. We share the same memories. And I just, when you said about the long cord, because I mean, I was the only child, so I didn't have to worry about sisters and brothers.
Oh, no, there was 4 of us.
But I had to worry about a mother that was very, very like in the Navy or in the Army.
Oh,
She was rough. So it was funny because you talking about the phone with the cord. So yes, I had the phone. It was downstairs, like you said. It was this long cord. So I'd be waiting for her to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And then I know I hear her snoring a little bit. I'm like, okay. And then I get that, I'll be like,
down the stairs.
Gotta get the phone. And then all of a sudden I'd be like this, bar, like, get off that phone.
They knew. Mothers know.
They knew, Barbara, every time. I was like, ugh. Yeah, but no cell phones, just that one phone.
And now, I mean, the other day I answered my phone on my watch.
See that? It's, where we look at how we just came from.
How we've evolved.
I mean, you can watch TV on your watch, on your phone. I mean, it's just, it's.
And I really think it's a good thing. And yet, as in anything else, it can be abused.
Yeah,
it can be abused. So, which is a story for another day. But today is National Be Heard Day.
Oh.
And I really want to talk about it.
Okay.
And just because it's you and I show, we can talk about whatever we want.
I like that.
But it's Be Heard Day because it encourages small businesses to get themselves out there, to make their presence known. So that's what you and I do. We do visibility. Get yourself out there if you have a small business, because you know what? 145 million people are employed by small businesses. Doesn't matter whether, like with me, I'm a solopreneur coach, but I have a VA who I pay. Just because we're a small business, we can do things that the big businesses can't do in some ways, because we can pivot on a dime.
Yes. Yeah.
When I look back at my career as a coach and as a mentor, as a midlife mentor, and dealing with baby boomers, I've had to grow myself of how to stand out from the crowd, how to make my presence known, doing this show.
Yes.
Wow. But small businesses, they pay for our schools. I go into our schools. we're mentors in the classroom. We are coaches. We are all sorts of things in the neighborhoods. And without us and the brick and mortar businesses, we are the backbone of America, a backbone of the country. Because not everybody can be in the top 5%, but not everybody is in the poverty either. It's us that's in the middle that we're doing most of the supporting.
Wow.
So I'm all about learning. So one of and that is one of my part of my 3-part purpose is to serve God, to learn, and then to teach other people what I've learned. So a couple of the things that I thought I would share with you is just tips that you can do as a consumer. Okay. Like those of us that are coaches, but we all need to all support each other, but support your local businesses. Like with me, I live in a small town. I mean, we're growing. We're at like a little over 2,000 now, but we have a local restaurant and we have a local dollar store. We have a local library. Well, guess what? I am a member of all of those things, and I shop at the store and I eat at the restaurant because I like the fact that it's 2 blocks away, and I like the fact that the dollar store is just 3 minutes away. I want it to stay there. So let's support our local businesses. If you have a local business, make sure you support it.
Yes.
Spend your money in there. And then if you like a service that somebody's doing for you, tell others. Tell people about it.
Yes.
Tell people about your local restaurant. Tell people about your local whatever it is. I mean, every time, And one of the things and this hit me a little bit, was that, find out if they have a social presence. If they have a social presence, support them. Share it out. And I do that of the restaurant. Like I'll put out that, hey, they had really great, my little local restaurant. I'm going to share just because I love it. Yeah. One of my favorite things to eat, never loved it as a kid, but love to eat is liver and onions. Yeah, that's how most people, but I really like liver and onions. Once I realized that I didn't like liver and onions because my mom didn't know how to cook it. So then when I was introduced to real liver and onions, it was really good. Well, so that's something that I will go out and I will order
all the
different places. My little local restaurant here, Sam's Restaurant in Cortland, has the best liver and onions. It is so good. It's always tender. It's consistent. So support your local restaurants and have if they have a social presence, make sure you support them.
Yes.
So Google my business. It's huge. Give your local business a review. If you've had a good experience, or whether it's Google My Business or whether it's Yelp or whatever is out there, give them a review.
Yes.
That you like, and not just, it was great. Please, it was great. That does not tell anything. Give some constructive feedback. That, this service, and if you can find out if you like, say it's a restaurant and and you find out the name of your server, how long they've worked there, that kind of stuff. Just, you don't have to get their life story, no, but how long have you worked here? It's an easy question. So find out their name and then put out a review. That if they were friendly, because we always talk about the things that went wrong.
Yeah, we're easy to do that.
Worst service ever. But businesses need to know what they're doing right.
Yes.
So that's my thing for today. So if you write a review, find out who the person was, what you liked about it, what specifically. The restaurant was so clean, the restaurant was friendly, you felt the difference when you walked in the door, whatever it is, whatever you felt. But I think it starts with, you and I talk about it all the time, is be aware of your surroundings. Be aware. Take note. And then, share with somebody share with. They need to know what they're doing right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but
Well,
don't we all?
yeah. Well, I wanted to add to that. Well, first of all, thank you for all the golden nuggets. A lot of people are like, "Ooh, that's good." Adding to that, with the business, not just the restaurants and everything, give, like you said, the love to them. But if you're working with somebody, especially small businesses, let them know what they're doing right, and give them the love there. Give them the testimonials, because that helps a lot.
Yes.
Not just, just to say, okay, you did a good job for me, but then they can use that to show and be that presence and say, you know what, this person said, not only that I do the work, but I have a third party endorser saying that I did a good job too.
Right.
So that does help small business the wrong way.
Exactly. And volunteer to give a testimonial. Don't always wait for them to ask you. Because let me tell you, once in a while, as a small business, as a coach, it's like when I say to my clients, "Oh, gee, will you share something about, something nice about me?" It's like you're asking, So volunteer to just say, "Hey, Barb, you know what? In this case, it's both of us. Hey, Barb, I'd love to give you a testimonial. What do you have a format?"
Mm-hmm.
Because some people do have a format that they want to follow. Absolutely, because it fits in with how they structure their testimonies or things like that, of depending on how they post it. So there is structure. So, but find out from them. Hey, you know what? I want to write a testimonial for you, or I want to write a review for you on Google My Business. Hey. Yes. Just volunteer.
Let's support each other. We really support. Yeah.
Because,
and one thing, just to add to that, before we bring in our wonderful, wonderful guest, Mr. Stuart Elliott, what I do, and I deal with a lot of shows, other shows besides this.
Right.
The biggest show that I love doing is the Coaches Lounge, because I get a chance to give those coaches the visibility so people know what they do, and then I ask the question to everybody in the audience and say, now reach out to them. Now that you know who they are, and they might be able to be helpful for you in your life, or if you know somebody, that needs this type of service, reach out. I mean, these small businesses, they are really trying to be there and be the lighthouse to the world, as I always say. Right. So, if when you give them some love, believe me, they're going to really, really appreciate it. I know I do. And I know you do.
Yeah. Reach out. I love it. It makes you, number one, it makes you feel special without having to ask. We don't always want to ask. And I've gotten to the point now where it's like, hey, you know what? Would you leave a review or whatever? And it's okay. But once in a while, it's like, ooh, do I have to? So it's really nice when somebody just offers.
Yeah. The last thing you want to do is pull teeth for somebody to leave a review for you. That's like,
exactly. And but sometimes I think people don't offer because they don't know what to say. Mm-hmm. And that is very true. And I've had a couple of people that say, "Oh, Barb, I want to write a review for you. I don't know how to do it." Oh, great! Here, let me give you a format.
Yeah, because I do it.
Always willing. We're always willing to send a little, hey, just to fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Or record it. Like I have done recorded testimonials for people.
Yes.
How does this sound?
Mm-hmm.
And and because even when they record it, people now are so good at taking snippets out.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I have written things, recorded it, taken out the snippets that I want.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And then, that's another thing that I was going to say, because I know when you do workshops, like when you're doing coaching and stuff like that, and you have it on Zoom, if you're talking to them, and if they record that, I tell people record that, because you never know when they're going to come out and say something nice about what you've done for them, or they learn something from you. And I've done that in my coaching, and I was able, like you said, to take those little clips out and put them as little sound bites saying, okay, this person or this individual learned this. So yes, use the technology, as we said, right?
Right. We've got this technology at our fingertips now.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how to do it. And you're never too old to learn something.
No. I said, you're always learning. If you're not learning anything, you shouldn't even be here anymore. It's like, come on now. There's always something to learn. Always.
Yeah. Because if you're not growing, you're going the other way.
Yeah.
Where does that lead? I mean, but because I truly believe that we can live our lives full out until the moment that we don't.
Oh, yeah. We got to make that
Absolutely.
choice. You make that choice.
I'm making that choice.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, we're going to make a choice right now to do two things: to introduce our wonderful, wonderful guest, Stuart Elliott, and then we're going to go to a sponsor and we're going to bring him up at that time. So he is a strategist, personal growth coach, mentor, just a lighthouse of the world. And I like how he calls himself AKA Soul Whisper.
Right. You know, we all have dark spots and mental blocks, and sometimes we feel like we're in this mental prison where we're just going round and round and round and round and round. Well, sometimes we need help to get out of that self-talk, and it's those things that are holding us back from doing the stuff that we know we're supposed to be doing. So, or that we're not that we're supposed to be doing, but that we're called to do.
Yes.
That's our purpose in life. So, absolutely, yes, I love talking to Stuart.
So we're gonna talk to Stuart in just a few minutes. We'll be right back. And we're back.
We're back.
Yes.
Okay.
How you doing, Mr. Stuart?
I'm doing well, and we don't need the Mister. Just call me Stuart. You know, it's it's very polite of you and generous of you to say that. But yeah, Stuart's good.
Yeah, I get permission, and I just go for it after that.
Yep, that's
So
right.
thank
You know,
you,
it's very
Stuart.
intelligent.
Yeah.
How are you doing,
It's
Stuart?
wonderful to be here and have a lovely conversation.
Yeah. Now, Stuart, are you from? I mean, I'm looking at the thing that you fill. Are you from China? Are you?
I'm actually in China. I'm not born here.
Wow.
And I was born in the UK. I moved to Africa in '86, stayed there for 18 years, and came to China. And I'm still here. And this picture in the background is the area I live in. It's just so beautiful. It's wonderful.
My God, that looks beautiful. Wow. Look
It's
at
a very
that.
famous area, you know, for tourism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time I said that, I said, "Is that real?" He said, "Oh yeah, that's out my backyard, probably."
Oh,
My backyard.
Yeah, I took it a couple of weeks ago in the Spring Festival. So there we are.
That's gorgeous. Yes. So I can say now that we're global right now because we have Stuart from China. Yes. I like to say that about our shows. So Stuart, please, before we start a conversation, tell us a little background about you and what you do.
Well, I evolved into what I do through my whole life journey, and I think that's something that you know, at 16 years old, I was asked what I want to do as a career, and you know, at 16, you don't even think past 18 or 20. Never mind for the rest of your life. So, you know, I think we just follow what comes to us at that time, and I followed, you know, my path and made the mistakes and got that reservoir of wisdom that I like to say. And then, when I came to China, I came to teach English as a second language. And I had a lot of success with the students, etc., etc. And I became the most popular teacher. I had the highest class retention and the highest score. I didn't know why. I'm just talking to these guys. I'm just, you know, having these conversations. And I went and studied hypnotherapy and NLP to find out what I was doing. And that told me, okay, now I know what I'm doing. I'm able to use it more intentionally. So I just evolved into should we say, a life coach, because some of the classes became life coaching sessions with English as the medium. And when the people made that smile from the heart, that was the reward. And it said to me, Stuart, this is what you need to be doing. And that's what it's about. It's seeing the people make that connection inside. And as you said earlier, Barbara E, not Barbara B, but the mental prison, breaking out of the mental prison.
Right.
Because we're trapped in this little room in our heads, and we can't see past it because there's no windows that we've opened or no doors that we've opened. And sometimes we need someone to help to give us that little nudge and say, okay, your soul's been knocking on this door for a long time. It's got these messages for you, but you can't hear it because you're closed in.
Yeah.
And when they get that message and they feel it in the heart, then that's the reward in itself, and that's what it's about. And I'm sure you'll both agree with me that when someone makes that connection inside themselves, then that's priceless.
Yes.
I always call it when you literally see the wheels start to turn or the light bulb go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the light bulb. Every time I look at my clients and then I be talking and all of a sudden they're like, I mean, you could just feel it, and it's just my soul and my heart. I'm like, yes, I got in. They understand. They're receiving something. I'm just like a little kid when I see that, because like you said, that's just, you mentoring or whatever you do for a person. You feel like that was the ultimate goal, to help them move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because until that moment, they don't know their potential.
Mm-hmm.
No.
They don't.
And they don't even realize they're trapped half the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So it's a big thing.
Wow. So I'm curious, Stuart, about because I love how you said AKA Soul Whisper. So how did that come about? Well,
I've been thinking for a long time how to actually differentiate myself in a way, and then I got hooked through a networking meeting. I got connected to somebody, and he said, "You are a soul whisperer." And I said, "Oh, that's interesting." And it started to connect to me more and more and more, because basically, what is it we do? We can help people connect to the messages from the soul. And most people don't even hear or don't even realize that there's things that they've been talking. Maybe as they get older, they might think, there's something missing. There's got to be more to life than this. But that's as far as they go, because they don't understand how to get past whatever limits have been imposed on them by others or by themselves, or quite often families push us or careers push us in directions which are not suited to us, but we have to do it because we've got to make a living. But we never get satisfied, and we just dismiss all these other things.
That's I love how somebody told you about your title, and see, that makes you, like you said, Stuart, unique into what you do. What everybody else does is maybe something similar. And I like how you also said that, we go around saying, okay, we got to work, we got to do this. They said we got to do it this way. And then we get lost in that. And then we start losing what we're really purpose and passionate about. And I think with you coming into their lives, and, all of us that we coach, is to remind them that, no, there's something more deeper. And let's kind of look at that and see what you really, want to do. I know when I talk to a lot of ladies that I coach, a lot of times they're like, I really wanted to do this, but I always had to, make sure we were doing this, make sure, somebody told me when I was 16 or 17, well, you got to work. And then after that, you got to get the pension. And it was the phase of it. And they really lost themselves in that phase. So I love how you said that.
Right.
Yeah. And they don't only lose themselves, they lose the whole identity, because they become whatever it is they're doing, their job or their career or whatever. And if that ever falls away, for instance, if they retire or they get made redundant or something like that, then they have this big question: who the heck am I? They don't know, because what they were before. And, giving a good example of that, I was talking to a lady a couple of months ago now, and she's probably mid-40s or something like that, or early 40s. But she said to me, and the way she said it, I was like shocked. I was taken back. She said, "I've just lost my 2 children." And I'm thinking immediately car crash, plane crash, something like this and everything else. And she said, "Oh, my 2 boys are 18 years old. They've just left home."
Yeah.
Oh.
And she hadn't been able to put herself into the new role. She was still there, and she was still locked in that identity. She wasn't ready at that moment to grow into the new role, the new position of the mother with this children have moved out, and look at the success she's had by bringing these children and getting them ready to take on the world on their own.
Yeah, that was
And that's what we do. We lock ourselves into this idea.
Wow. When you said that, when she said she lost her 2 children, I was thinking the same thing. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah.
What do I say now? I mean, because that's horrendous.
Is.
I've got 2 children. I don't want to be in that position. But
when you said
hopefully when I get to her, they get as old as her children are, I'll be able to take that nugget from her that she gave me, because that's also something very valuable, and help myself grow into letting them have that freedom that they need, and not losing myself into that, they're not my children anymore type of thing.
Right. That's one of the things that I deal with baby boomers that are coming up to retirement. I want to get them before they retire, and my favorite question is, who are you within what you do?
Mm-hmm.
And most people say to me, oh, well, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. No, yeah, okay, yeah, that's what you do. But who are you within that? Because what happens so often is that they retire, and then because exactly what you just talked about, Stuart, they have no idea of who they are. They have no identity. And statistically, this is really sad, but if they do not make that transition, they'll be dead within 12 to 24 months.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that happened to my uncle.
Or they turn to drugs and alcohol.
Yeah. My uncle had the same thing. He was 65. He got to retirement age, and he said he's so happy. He was a high-level salesperson. He was so happy he's going to play golf now for the rest of his life. Well, he did, but he only lasted 6 months because he'd lost himself. Didn't know who he was. He didn't have any purpose. And that's a sad fact. And as you say, if you can get the people before they retire, so they can start discovering who they are, then they can go into this retirement with energy, with excitement, with possibility, with hope.
Yeah. Right. I always tell people, I said, because people are like, well, Barbara, your retirement's coming up. What you going to do? I said, well, first of all, let's not say retirement. I'm never going to retire. And I say that because I'm just going to go to another new adventure in my life. That's what I tell them. It's another adventure, something else I'm going to take on and enjoy. Because when it seems like the retire, it's like everybody, I don't know, it's just in people's heads. Like you say, I'm going to retire. It's like, okay, you stop. It's like, okay. And I'm like, no, that's not what it has to be. But if you put it that way, like you said, Stuart, if we put it out there, then of course it's good. We're going to follow suit to it and say, well, this is it. I don't have nothing else to do. They don't need me no more. I'm gone. It's like, and I see that so much. Yeah.
Oh, I know people that they plan their day around what's on TV, on what shows are on TV, and reruns that they've been watching for 40 years. And some of them are around from when TV first started. Gunsmoke. You can still watch Gunsmoke. Yeah.
But it's interesting because it's like you told me when we had a conversation about people's expectations about you and making your journey that you did, when you took that drive through the States. Why are you doing it at your age? You're supposed to be vegetating. You're supposed to be, watching all these reruns and just disappearing. That's crazy. Why? Why should we be doing that? Because you know who you are, and you've got this life, and there's got this energy and this gift to share with people. And that's what's so special, that when we can connect to that message from inside us, we can do these things, and we're able to spread the word, if you like, just to have fun, to empower people, to take people away from this prisons and all the nonsense that we carry around, and we think this is who we are.
Right. Or who we're supposed to be. That's one of the things that I run into. Well, I'm supposed to be this way. No, you're not.
No.
It's that you are living by somebody else's, you are living through someone else's lens. And and it's like, really? And yes, and I will be very honest with him, and you know why I know you're living through somebody else's lens? Because I did that for a lot of years. Yeah. I did it for a lot of years. And then finally, and yet now people say to me, "Oh, Barb, you've changed so much." It's not that I've changed. I finally come into my own. I know who I am,
Yeah.
and it's great, and I love it, and it's good, and yeah. But we all have to. We get to do that, but some people don't. I think one of the things Stuart and I talked about too. Sometimes I think people don't think they're worth it. Well, I shouldn't want that.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? Why should
Or,
I want it?
or it's too late.
Or
It's too late. And I wanted to add to that what you said, Barbara, about, doing what you want to do, depending on whatever age it is. See, I used to get caught up when I turned 30 and 40, that I was like, oh no, I'm not where I wanted to be. I thought I was going to be here at a certain age. I wanted to do this at a certain age. I wanted to retire at 30 and all that. Now I'm in my 40s. Well, I'm older now, but at that time I was saying all that, and I was putting so much energy in that I wasn't putting the energy in, well, just flow in what you're doing now. Enjoy what you're doing now. You accomplished so much. I had to change that thought process, because it seemed like I was always racing after something failed. Okay, I failed. I mean, it was almost to that point that I feel like I failed because I didn't make it to a certain part in my life, because now I'm the age of 45 or 50 or 60. And, that's when I had to tell myself, it doesn't matter. Just do what you're going to do and enjoy the ride, enjoy the life ride. Right. Instead of worrying about, well, I was supposed to be here at 40. No, because a lot of times I'm telling you, sometimes you might not make it to everything you want, and you don't need to trash your life because of that. You need to grow and feel comfortable and just keep doing. I mean, I know people in their 90s and they became first-time authors. They're running. They're everything. And that to me is just amazing.
Right.
And one of the things is, so I was just going to say, what you're supposed to do to me is just a guideline to take you on a direction. It's not the end of your journey. It's just a guideline, and you're going to have experiences. You're going to meet new things. You're going to gain new knowledge on this journey, and then with that new knowledge, you're better able to make more informed and better decisions.
Right.
So that's what it is. So we need these directions, but they're not the end. Our life is what we have now.
Right. And so many people, they get caught in the four of the bad words of the English language. I'll be happy when.
Yeah.
They're constantly living in the future, and yet they're totally neglecting what they're doing now, of having that sense of fulfillment, having that of like, oh wow, this is what I get to do now. I'll be happy when my kids are out of or when my kids are out of school. Oh, I'll be happy when I have whatever amount of money in the bank. I'll be happy when. Well, you know what? That never comes. It never comes. And so many people get caught up in that, and then they can't seem to get out of it. Because one thing leads to the next thing.
Yeah, it's a big trap.
Yeah.
But again, it's what we've been brought up to believe. That, for instance, a lot of the students over here, they viewed themselves as study machines.
Yes.
And they just study, and then they get a good degree, they get a good job, and then they get a good house, they get a good wife, a good family, But there's no time to be happy. So I asked, when are you going to be happy? Oh no, when we retire.
Right. I'll be happy when I retire. I get that.
Yeah. Yeah. But the thing is that who are they when they retire? They don't know. And they never have that. They never have a life of happiness, because they're always, as you say, in the future, because they've got to fulfill these things. And where does it come from? It's that conditioning.
Right.
It's that we're living other people's lives.
Yeah.
Wow.
Rather than our own. So it's a big challenge to get this message across to people, because it's so deeply ingrained in society, in people.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so prevalent. And the thing is, here you are in China, you've lived in South Africa, and yet you probably found the same thing everywhere in the world, because people are people, and they all have their expectations might be different. but those 4 words translate into every language. I'll be happy when.
And they're also
And when never
accompanied by
comes.
and they're also accompanied by regret.
Yes.
And I had this wonderful lesson when I was about 17, and I'd just come back, and I was living in the UK then, and I just come back from Morocco on a 2-week holiday, and it was the beginning of May, so I was nice and brown, and everyone else was white, no Santa. And I walk in the pub, and there's this old guy, part of the bar, part of the fixtures and fittings, the old thing, 65, 75 or whatever, but he's part of the furniture. And he just looked at me, and he said, "You're looking very brown. Where have you been?" I said, "No, I've just been to Morocco." And his face, he just went so deep and wistful. It was like, a sad dog or something. I said, "Morocco. I wish I could have done that when I was your age."
Wow.
And I just looked at him and I said to myself, "Thank you so much for this wonderful lesson, because there's no way I'm going to get to your age and look back with regret." No matter what happens. I mean, I like to tell people, you can see in the background, there's this massive, it's actually a river, but it looks like a reservoir. That's my reservoir of wisdom. All the things that have happened to me, it's there for me to dip into and share with people, to drink from and keep us fresh and keep us young. And that's what we've all got if we choose to look for it. But again, choice is a big thing that people don't realize they got. They don't think we can because.
Yes, that is so powerful, Stuart. I'm glad you said that, because I say that all the time too. It's the choice that you make. I mean, everything's out there laid out that if you want it, but you have to make that choice if you're going to go right or left. And then the last thing you want is regrets. And, thinking about, oh, wow, and then looking at other people and saying, well, this is where I am, and sit in that chair or wherever. I mean, I just don't want to have that for anybody.
Right. And I think one of the biggest things is to start with is be open to a possibility. And all it takes is for you to sit back and go, okay, what's next? Your brain will look for an answer. And if it will give you one little small inkling of something, a little nudge, all you have to do is that's when you have choice to follow the nudge or to squelch it. Well, I'm encouraging you, follow the nudge, because that little seed of nudge will take you to a bigger seed of nudge and a bigger seed and a bigger seed. And all of a sudden you have got this life worth living rather than stagnating on your chair watching reruns.
And along with that, I mean, a lot of people, maybe some people will take that nudge. And then it didn't work out the way they thought it was going to be. And then they castigate themselves and say, I shouldn't have done that. I should have done something else. But they don't realize now they're making that decision that they shouldn't have, with a different perspective, with more knowledge, with more learnings, because of that choice they made back then. And they can't make that same choice again now because they're a different person. So whatever they chose to do has helped them to grow in a way which, if they want to choose to, they can take the benefit from and move forward as a new person, a more wise person.
That's
but amazing. It starts with choice.
Goes back to choice. Now, Stuart, I was going to ask you, now when you do have people come to you and wanting your wisdom and mentoring and stuff, what is like some people that come to you, do they have they didn't make the right choice, or they're just feeling like they just something about them, they're just like, I don't know what it is, Stuart, but maybe you can help me get through this? What is kind of some of the things that they come to you about with help that's needed?
The thing I think that most people is they're that stage where they've realized that there's something missing. And they don't know what it is, that it's not tangible, but they've just got this, and it's been building up a long time, and something's pushed them to say, okay, it's time to do something with it. And what we have to do as a coach is we have to, understand where they are. What is it they are facing? Not make a judgment and say, okay, you've got this problem, you've got that problem. We've got to meet them where they are and then explore where they want to go. And the question is, or the big question for most people, they've got no idea what they want. Absolutely no idea. So we can talk to them and get the nonsense away, so that messages that have been there knocking at the door all the time in their mind or in their body can start getting answered, and they can explore and they can make choices, as you say, to just take that little direction, make a little turn here. If we come to the fork in the forest, we go left or right. Both are great. We've just got to just take one and go with it and see where it takes us, because it's going to give us things. It's going to give us adventures, possibility, knowledge, wisdom. And then if it didn't turn out to be what we expected, that's also good. Be grateful, because now you're a different person, you're a wiser person, and you can make a fresh choice with this new knowledge, this new person you are.
Yeah.
And then we go on from there. So it's not about what we think the problem is. It's about helping them to explore all the possibilities which are waiting for them to look at.
Ooh, I
But
love
they've
that.
got to be open to explore.
Well, I love how you took us either way when you said either journey you take. And if it even doesn't work out the way you feel like it should, that you still gaining the knowledge, the wisdom, and it changed you somewhere you're moving forward. See, some people look at if something didn't go right, then they go to this whole thing. Oh, it didn't go right. Didn't go the way I wanted to. Da, da, da. They go into that little pity party, that's the part I don't like, the pity party. But like you said, even with that, there is, learning experience. There is growth is that you learn from. And that's what I always look back at the stories of our lives. We all have our stories that we deal with.
Yeah.
And I always look back and say, well, I learned from that. I learned, what to do or what not to do. I always tell people.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure we've all had, but I've had some things which at the time I thought they were horrendous, and I want the world to swallow up and eat me and disappear. And you talked to me then, and I don't want to know anybody or anything, but with a little bit of time, I'm able to look back and say, that's the best thing that's happened to me. Look how I grew. Look what knowledge I gained from it.
Right.
And that's the thing. And that is a choice I made, to look at it that way. I could have chosen to go into the pity party and go deeper and deeper down that road, or I could choose to go the other way and say, okay, look, what are the benefits? What have I gained? How have I grown from this?
Yeah. What were the gifts that came out of it?
Oh, I like that, the gifts.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's choice. That's allowing us to do that.
Yes.
And recognizing that we always have that choice about how we react to whatever circumstances and things that life chooses to throw at us, because life is there to test us.
Yeah. Well, Stuart, this has been amazing. I'm so glad, Barbara, you did it again. You always bring on the good guests. I enjoyed it so much. Yes.
Barbara's a special person, but I'm not denigrating the other Barbara either. You're both special people. So it's wonderful to be here and be blessed by, the wisdom of both of you. And, if I can just help. And what I think is starting to happen is we're starting to raise that collective wisdom in the world.
Right.
Yes.
And that's important.
Definitely. We learn and grow from each other. I definitely learned and grew from you, Stuart, today. And Barbara, I always grow from you. So we help each other. And if we can keep continuing to add that and do that, it makes life even better, not with just yourself. You're not alone. You're here with other people that know the knowledge. And if you don't know, Stuart knows. And if Stuart don't know, Barbara might know. I mean, and it goes around, and we just learn and grow from each other. Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we've got to be very honest about. I can't help everybody. There are people I talk to who are not suited to the way I speak, to my personality. But if I know Barbara, I can say, okay, speak to this Barbara or that Barbara, because they will suit you better. And we've got to be open to that. We don't want to try and grab on to everybody and keep them to ourselves and be selfish. It's not good. It's about sharing and recognizing and making that match that's made in heaven.
Oh, yeah, that's a good ending to that. I love that. Well, Stuart, we're going to have you back, sir. Thank you so much for being on the Time to Shine Happiness Show. You are always welcome, your family. And Barbara, just want to thank you again for always bringing on the wonderful guest, Stuart. He has been a delight. Yes.
It's a pleasure. And thank you. And thank you to the audience for listening. And hopefully getting some nuggets of wisdom from what we've just discussed.
Believe me, there's a lot of nuggets. I've been seeing people flash and I've been seeing comments. So they've been eating it all up to this morning. So
Always
that's
good to see
wonderful.
comments.
always good.
Yeah.
So we'll see everybody next Tuesday and have a wonderful rest of your week. Oh, and happy Women's International Day for tomorrow. Yay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody, and take care and make those choices for you.
Yes.